Good morning, class. Today, I just want to explain the Holes final project, what I'm looking for, what's expected, and how you're going to submit the project. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and look at the final project. You have 5 options. We'll go through each option and what I'm expecting from each option. And then I will also include in the assignment in ELA Google Classroom some tutorials on how to do some of the options. Okay. So first we're going to talk about number 1. So option number 1, create a soundtrack for the novel with songs that reflect the plot, themes, or conflict in the novel. Your soundtrack should include 3 songs with an explanation for how the lyrics of the song connect to the novel. All right, so if you look over here to the right of my screen, the yellow Post-it note, this is what I am looking for option number 1. You'll need 3 songs. You must give the name of the song and the artist. You're going to have 1 song that relates to the plot of Holes, 1 song that relates to one of the themes of the book, and 1 song that relates to the conflict of the book. Okay. Each song must have 1 paragraph of 3 to 7 sentences explaining how the lyrics connect to the novel. So how does the song that you chose for the plot, how does that connect to the plot? How does it relate to the plot of Holes? Okay, that's what I'm looking for. It must be typed in a Google Doc, and you will just simply submit it through the final project assignment. Okay. Option number 2. This novel ends with the Yelnats family and Zero becoming very rich, while the warden is forced to sell her land. Write an extra chapter in the novel detailing what happens after the final chapter ends. You can focus on the Yelnats family, the relationship with Zero and his mother, or what happens to the warden. Okay, so for this one, I'm expecting you to have, if you look on the blue Post-it note, typed, option number 2 must be typed in a Google Doc, must have 4 to 5 paragraphs, which means you have an introduction, body paragraphs, either 2 to 3 of those, and a conclusion. Okay, those are elements of a good chapter of a book. Okay, this is a short one, it doesn't have to be very long. And same thing, you're going to just submit that Google Doc into the assignment for Google Classroom. Okay. And then option number 3, I'm going to go ahead and just move it down. It's the green Post-it note. Option number 3 is you're going to create a comic strip of an important event from the novel. The comic must have a minimum of 6 frames and must also include a rationale for choosing the scene and for your artistic choices. You should also be sure to include dialogue or a description of each frame. All right. So if you decide on option number 3, you have an option. It can be created in a Google slide, or you can draw it out on paper. If you decide on doing it in a Google slide, I have created a video on how to create a comic strip in Google Slides, and it'll be posted in the ELA Google Classroom along with this assignment. Rationale means reason why. So give a reason why you chose to do the specific scene, and your artistic choices. Artistic choices are like, why did you draw Stanley a certain way, or why did you draw Zero this way? Those kind of things. Okay. So explain that. So you'll need either for both, if you decide to do it in a Google slide or draw it on paper, you still need to have typed in either a Google Doc, or if you're doing Google Slide, you can create a slide with the paragraphs in it. So you'll need to write a paragraph explaining why you chose a scene. Your paragraph must be 5 to 7 sentences, and then you'll need another paragraph of 5 to 7 sentences explaining your artistic choices. Okay, so that's what I'm looking for that. For the comic strip in Google Slide, you can use clip art that you find, things like that, similar to how we did it for the BFG if you chose to do the comic strip for BFG. Right? So number 4, option number 4, you're creating a book of diary entries from the viewpoint of one of the other boys in the camp. The diary entries must discuss events from the novel and how the character perceives them, but can also include background information about the boy that the reader didn't learn about. You must include a minimum of 3 entries. So for option number 4, it must be typed in a Google Doc. You cannot use Stanley, so you have to pick a different character from the book, one of the other boys. So that's not Stanley. And type the entries up from their viewpoint, from that boy's viewpoint. So you'll need 3 entries. Each entry must be at least 1 paragraph of 5 to 7 sentences long. Okay, and again, it'll be in a Google Doc, and you'll submit that into the assignment. Option number 5 is to write a letter to Louis Sachar, the author of Holes. Introduce yourself and explain how you came to read Holes. Some things you might want to discuss is what you liked about the novel, what scene you enjoyed the most, what character you connected most with, or what surprised you the most about the plot. If you choose, you don't have to, you can send your letter to the link here so Louis Sachar, the author, could read it. Okay, what I'm looking for in option number 5. So if you choose to write the letter, it must be typed in a Google Doc. It must be in a proper letter format. So that means your letter has a greeting. So it says, like, you could start the letter out as good morning or dear Mr. Sachar, something like that. Okay, so it has to have a greeting. Your introduction is you introducing yourself. So you'd say, good morning, or dear Mr. Sachar, my name is Mrs. Pratt. Okay, or whoever. You want to say, my name is, and then explain why or how you came to read Holes. So my name is Mrs. Pratt. We were reading Holes in class as an assignment. Okay. So your introduction probably be about 2 sentences long. Okay, maybe 3. Then your body paragraph. So that's where you're talking about the things that you liked about the novel, what scene you enjoyed the most, what character you connected most with, what surprised you most about the plot. That's going to be all in your body paragraph. And then you're going to have a conclusion paragraph, and that's just you wrapping up, like, no new information. It's just wrapping up the letter. It's probably about 2 sentences long. It's not very long. And then after your conclusion, you're going to have a closing. So sincerely, comma, and then, or thank you, comma. Those are the closings of a letter. And then you're going to sign your name. Now, you can just find a fancy cursive font and use that as your signature. Okay. And again, that's in a Google Doc, and you'll just submit that to me through the Google Classroom assignment. Okay. I will have a tutorial video on how to create the comic strip. And then in the same video, it also just kind of give you a little bit of an explanation on how to write a proper letter in case you have some questions on that. So look for that video as well in the assignment. And I think that is it. If you have any questions, please let me know. This assignment is due on Friday, April 17th. Okay, you will be working on this all week long. So this is your assignment for today, Wednesday, and Thursday. So you have plenty of time to work on this. I want to make sure that you guys do a very good job. So I want to give you just this to work on throughout the week. There might be some extra assignments in there if you are finished early for you to work on, okay? Again, if you have any questions, please let me know. You can always message me through Google Classroom or in GoGuardian or when we meet in Zoom at 1 o'clock. All right, have a good day.